We all are in favor of transparency in government. But when the bill was passed earlier, I think there was a lot of unintended consequences, and that's a tremendous cost of having to produce records. And it isn't that this bill addresses regular requests, it's to go after what I call the abusers, or people who are trying to, or they're in a revengeful situation, and they want to bring down local government or local entity. They can do that through abusing the Public Records Act. So we need to come up with a method, at least a pathway where somebody else can decide if they think there's an abuse of the system.
So 99% of all requests are great, and special districts, water districts, cities, counties, we all want to comply. We're happy to comply with citizens' requests. But it is just that 1% that can really bog down a city, and actually can keep a requester who really needs a piece of information and needs it quickly. Maybe there's going to be a public hearing, and things, are so bogged down with maybe one request that's going to take up to 26 years to actually, make sure that it's fulfilled. So that's what this bill is trying to be, is about. It respects the law, but it is trying to deal, as Representative Nealey said, with those very few requesters who are kind of working the system a little bit.
In my community, there was a ticket given to a person who got very angry at the police department. So he made a public request for everybody's background information, so he could go after each of them. So that's not intended to be part of the original Public Records Act. Also, I've got a very small community of which there was a request made, and the letter was misaddressed. It went to the wrong place. They still are having to defend that action at a lot of costs, and they don't even have a full-time employee. They're such a small community. So it's a huge burden for one item.
The bill primarily does 4 things. It's a very modest bill. One, it helps cities and towns manage their public records. The second thing, and this is a big part of the bill, it sets up a public records commission. The third thing is a very small grant program to help the smaller cities and jurisdictions with their IT issues. And the fourth, which Representative Nealey worked on quite a bit, is cost recovery for commercial requests.
What would really help is if the city and county and district and ports and schools and port districts leaders would contact their legislators and say how important this bill is and how much it would help their own entity back home.